The following show and its content are the responsibility of the show's producers and participants.
Information related in this program is not meant to substitute medical recommendations. Before starting a treatment program, you should consult your physician.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
That's right. Welcome to the Couch Live here on WPSN99.com, the problem-solving network. We are a show that focuses on addiction and recovery each and every Friday, live here on WPSN99.com. Along with my cast of friends, I am the street-certified dope Dr. Louis Delgado, here with the Dharma Guy Trinity Phillips. Hello.
What's up? How you doing?
Doing well, Trinity. You're doing well? We'll get a little bit into how well you're doing.
There you go.
Right. And Robbie, of course, the Grasshopper's here with us. How you doing, Grasshopper?
Good. Glad to be back.
Oh, did you see him doing his little praying mantis hands?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that about?
I like it. There you
I don't
go.
know. It
just felt like the right thing to do.
He's buying into it.
Popped in my head.
Yeah, he's just improvising all of a sudden. He's just coming out with fresh new things to do.
He's all grown up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's turning into a praying mantis. Is that what grasshoppers turn into?
No.
Is things that bite your head off?
No. I think grasshoppers just stay grasshoppers.
Yeah, two different organisms.
I know we talk about addiction and stuff, but people are afraid of praying mantises?
Yeah.
A little bit, right?
Really?
Yeah, there are people that are pretty afraid of them.
They can't hurt you, but they kind of look intimidating.
Although I do know the female bites off the male's head.
Maybe that's why people are afraid of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Anyway, so we are the Couch Live. Lots is going on in the world. Not so much this week as far as in our space, other than a couple of things. You said Christy gave out some points.
Yeah, I think the last week when President Trump did the whole declaration of health emergency or whatever.
Right.
He was discussing a plan that Chris Christie was working on, and apparently it was released. I think it was yesterday or the day before. It's like a 56-point kind of. Recommendations is what I understood it to be. So they're not necessarily laws, but they were recommendations that that council or whatever you want to call it has made.
So already, that was pretty quick. I didn't expect that. See, I missed that. Yeah, where did you see that?
I think it popped up on my news feed on my phone. Like I have a news thing where it gives me updates.
Right.
And I think one of the most important points he made was that he wants to expand drug courts in the U.S. based on their success.
Right on.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I missed it, man. I wish I would have seen it. So did you write down some of the key points, or are you ready to talk about?
They're pretty much everything that we've already kind of discussed. Okay. Like a lot of stuff he mentioned in the speech, it was just a little bit more detailed, but for the most part, it's kind of the same things he already mentioned. It was just, I guess, they're official recommendations at this point.
How about a big shot? Whoa, what happened there?
I don't know. I lost you.
Yeah, I think I'm still lost.
Uh-oh. No bueno. No. But, no, I think...
it's not. It's going through. I see the level going. So
yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't hear you.
It's probably my headset or something. I don't know.
I don't hear you either, but it's okay. Yeah, like I said, it was just basically, from what my understanding was, if you listen to Trump's speech, what he was saying was, he already had kind of like a preliminary look at the things. Yeah. And so I guess what he did was he spoke about the ones that he already saw, and he just pulled me out. There you go.
I pulled everybody out.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's all it was just a rehash of what he already kind of said. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, for some reason I can't hear anything. Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I like that.
I can hear you outside of the headphones, but I don't hear you going through the mic.
Well, that's weird because I mean, I don't either. I don't either. And I don't know if it is. No, because I'm looking at the levels. No, come on now. What's going on with mine?
Aw.
I know, it's horrible. Whoa.
I was just popping.
Pop like
there
that.
You go.
No. go ahead and talk, fellas.
So, Robbie, did you pull up any of the 56 points? I think it's 56. I could be quoting a bad number.
I guess one thing that the commission's really been pushing for is access to medical marijuana, which we've talked about a lot on the show.
Right.
And I guess a lot of studies have said that marijuana may decrease opioid deaths, but Christie's a firm believer that I don't know where he's getting these numbers, but it says that other studies found that marijuana use led to 2.5 times greater chance that the user would become an opioid user and abuser.
Really?
Yeah, so you can.
Because I've heard the opposite too. I've heard in some of the states that they've had,
like Colorado.
Yeah. That basically what they were saying was opioid use went down.
Yeah, and
so you're saying that's not true?
Well, that's what I've seen too. That's what I believe to be the current knowledge on it. But it looks like a new research article posed by the National Institute on Drug Abuse found this other evidence. So.
Interesting.
Yeah. And
is that all like self-reporting though? That's my concern.
Maybe. I'd have to look at the research, but there's actually, speaking of research, I saw a pretty cool article that was posted this morning, and it was they exposed rats to alcohol like long term, and they found that these alcoholic rats that they had made alcoholic they
rats.
were more likely to abuse cocaine long term. So
interesting.
Nice to make the rats alcoholic.
Yeah, I mean you got to have a model organism. It's better than a human.
Spoken like a true scientist.
Yeah.
You get all scientific on us.
I mean, you could use like a pig or something, but rats are just more fun to watch.
More fun?
Scurry around.
Oh, God. The views and opinions expressed by...
Right.
No,
that makes sense, fellas.
We're going to get an email or a letter.
Yeah, of course. Everything else is done right, and of course my microphone, my beautiful little microphone, is not working.
Oh.
It was working right now, at the beginning.
No bueno.
Nope. No bueno.
Yeah, because I don't hear you at all.
No.
Uh-oh. No. So, but I think that's the majority of the news. Other than, I mean, the big thing, obviously, was apparently, what's his name? No. Weinstein is no longer public enemy number one.
Oh.
Weinstein's got to be very happy at the moment because Kevin Spacey has now taken over public enemy number one, man.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he can't. I've seen a lot of like memes and like stuff poking fun at that, which probably is like too soon.
I mean, that's debatable, I guess. Yeah. I just know that Harvey Weinstein was obviously public enemy number one for a while because of the copious amounts of accusations that have been coming out and just craziness. But then apparently Kevin Spacey, which we have a mutual friend, has told us years ago that Kevin Spacey had those types of things, but it was kind of hearsay at that point.
Interesting.
So it's very interesting. I texted this person actually after this came out. It's like, wow, it looks like you were right, because they had kind of firsthand knowledge about this. But regardless, for those of you who don't know, it seems like Kevin Spacey years ago, was it 30 years ago, I think, made some advances towards somebody that he may or may not have been drinking, and then this person came out, I guess, recently for whatever reason and said it out loud so everybody knows about it. And then Netflix kind of stopped season 7, if I remember this correctly. Yeah. They stopped season 7 of House of Cards, and they weren't sure what to do about season 6. And then all of a sudden, more people came out from the actual set of House of Cards, said he was really inappropriate with them, and a bunch of other stuff. So now they've suspended season 6. He also came out and apologized, says he's coming out as a gay man, and that he's going to go get an undisclosed treatment.
All right, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yeah. All right. So now I'm echoing. Jesus, how about now? Am I still echoing?
Nope, you're good.
I don't hear you echoing me.
All right. So anyway, I had to fix the wire. There was
you are back.
A brand new one. But luckily, remember, I came prepared. I bought extra because
like a Boy Scout.
Boy, I was right there. Yeah. Anyway, Kevin Spacey, you're talking about the lizard on the Cheech and Chong movie? Is that Kevin Spacey?
Oh my God, dude, you went way back.
Mr. Lizard. Yes.
Was it Mr. Lizard? House of Cards.
Well, I don't know House of Cards. I know Cheech and Chong.
You know American Beauty. You know Midnight in Garden of Good and Evil.
You got a picture of it, Robbie?
Yeah, I got a picture of him.
All right, show me, Kevin.
So there you go. You'll know he's a great actor. Yeah. Kaiser Sose.
Wait, I thought that was a different guy.
No, Kaiser Sose.
Oh, I didn't know that was Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, I don't hear you anymore.
Yeah, I went out again.
Oh.
I went out again, didn't I?
What?
Yeah.
It's something with this. It's not the wires. Oh.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey, Kaiser Sose.
Yeah.
So I knew you know that one. It's an old enough reference.
Is that old?
It's old.
Oh my God, this microphone's driving me nuts.
Anyways, but so that was the big story, I guess. So right about now, Harvey Weinstein's got to be very thankful for Kevin Spacey because Kevin Spacey took the heat off. Yeah, he's Kaiser Sose. So, but that's the biggest one I could think of at the moment that was in the news this week. Other than, like I said, the 56-point recommendation that Governor Chris Christie put out there.
Okay. Yeah. So some other things, some other key points are that the same commission we're talking about has not endorsed safe injection sites like they have in Canada, which I guess is like a monitored environment that you can you can use your needles for whatever you use them for. And
well, even Canada, if I remember correctly, they didn't sanction it. They just started doing it, and then they looked the other way, I think.
Yeah. Right. And basically they have like a bathroom where they have like someone waiting outside where they have an intercom and someone on the inside doesn't respond for so long, then they come in and.
Oh, see, the one I saw in Canada, I saw a story on it where they had like a tent city set up in a park.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they would all come out there and do their thing.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. The mic's going in and out, so it went out and it goes in and it goes out. So just, you guys are going to be doing this show by yourselves.
Are the levels still picking you up?
Yeah, no, it goes in and out.
Oh.
No, you guys are good.
Oh, right on.
It's I got to check the mic itself.
Well, I know.
Brand new mic.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Well, you're loud enough. They can all hear you. I'm sure, though.
Well, I'm speaking loud enough so they can.
Yeah,
sure.
They probably can.
So I do know that Louis, you said prior to going on air, you wanted to talk about the stigma.
I'm gonna have to come over there with you guys.
You can. It swivels. By all means. I'm like a lady right now, anyways. So by all means, get close.
It swivels. That just sounded weird.
Yeah.
I got another chair right. I got another chair right over here.
So you want to talk about the stigma? What was your initial thoughts?
Yeah. Well, here, the thing is.
Here, hold on.
I just can't hear me. So no, that's right. No, what I was saying was, obviously, there's a stigma attached to addiction and recovery, and there's a stigma attached to a lot of different things. Yeah, I got it all tied up. But you are currently going through something that also has stigma, and I think a lot of people don't usually talk about some of the other things that are relatable. So, like, if they're at home and they're not an addict, they're not in recovery, and they're struggling with understanding what stigma is and how it actually affects people from talking about something or getting help for something, I think that if we relate it to other problems that exist, other problems that people have, maybe we can help them relate to what stigma is and how it actually does negatively impact someone getting help or even getting the right help or talking to other people about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I will say that
now it's working. As soon as I did that whole little dialogue,
I will say though that as somebody who
go out again,
isn't in recovery, I definitely understand the stigma associated with drug and alcohol addiction for sure. And I guess what you're referring to was I've been going through some of my own medical stuff lately,
right?
And some of it, actually, I think both of them kind of have a stigma attached to them in some sense, one more than the other. But I was diagnosed with sleep apnea, probably, I don't know, back in April, I think it was. And sleep apnea sucks. For those of you who don't have it or heard anything about it, it sucks. Having said that, I was on this journey trying to figure out why. Like, why did I get sleep apnea? Why did it all of a sudden just happen? And most doctors I spoke to wanted to try to say my weight. But I tried to explain to them, being in bodybuilding and powerlifting for so long, I've always been a big guy. I've never had a problem with that. Why all of a sudden did it start? And so the problem I was running into was they heard hooves. They were thinking horses. Well, it could be zebras. And it was getting on my nerves. And so finally, my what do they call it? The general practitioner, my family doctor, kind of on a whim, he tested all my hormones and stuff and found out that I had low testosterone. And so at first we weren't sure if the weight gain from the sleep apnea was causing the low testosterone or if the low testosterone started at all. So when we got on the CPAP machine, I dropped like 20 pounds in like a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then it just stopped. And so that tells us that it wasn't the sleep apnea; it was causing everything. So it was the testosterone. So now I started this week on taking some testosterone shots, which should bring me back up to normal levels, which then subsequently should make the weight drop, things of that nature. So the stigmas that I deal with, number one, being in the fitness industry, putting on 80 pounds in less than a year.
Right.
It's embarrassing, and it makes people think, oh, I'm not going to listen to that guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Right.
They don't want to hear, like, hey, I'm dealing with medical stuff. And then the second one, of course, would be the lack of testosterone. I don't know why I'm so open about it. I guess just because I'm comfortable with myself, I don't really care.
Right.
I kind of just, but I do know there is that little the little adolescent inside of me that like snickers, you know. And I know you and I've joked about it, like, oh, let me get my purse and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really bother me. But I can see how it could bother other people to not want to talk about it.
Right.
And I know for a fact that a lot of people aren't open because I posted on my Facebook when I was doing my due diligence, trying to understand what's happening and how to handle it. I posted if anybody I knew was taking testosterone replacement therapy, and nobody commented on it or liked it publicly. But I got some messages privately with people asking, talking about it, and some people I've known for years. I've known one of them in particular I've known for 10, 12 years probably now, and he's been on it for apparently 3 years, and I had no clue. Never talked about it, never told anybody, never said anything about it. And I think part of that is the stigma. Part of that is that whole idea of like, oh, I'm not man enough to produce testosterone now, whatever. So there's definitely stigma, and I can see how that would keep people from going to get tested for it and then being open and talking about it and things of that nature. And so the stigma definitely does keep people from getting help. You know, it keeps people from getting treatment, getting help, talking about it, reaching out about it. And mine is more or less really the only population I think that would kind of rag on me a little bit would be men, right? Because there's the whole like the locker room type thing, like, oh, you're not a man enough now. And probably mostly younger ones. Some of the older ones, they get it. They probably deal with themselves.
Yeah.
To where stigma attached to addiction, you don't only have just a young male population. You got everybody, like young, old, male, female. Like everybody has their own viewpoint on it. So it's like the stigma I can kind of sort of feel with the testosterone magnified by like 10. You know? So I could definitely see how that would keep people from getting help, though.
Well, some of the stigmas that we hear of or know of, people have them, but it's visual. Like in other words, people can see what your issue that you're struggling with is.
Yeah.
Others like this is under wraps. I mean, you just don't know. Like you said, you knew this guy for over 10 years, and you never knew he was on it.
Yeah, never knew.
So. And when we were talking about it earlier, we were saying, man, I didn't know anybody that's taking the shot part. I know people that are taking some sort of pharmaceutical gel, something like that. But I don't know anybody that's doing a shot. And you said, when you came out with it, a lot of people approach you. So it's like it makes me think of, a good way to kind of let people know. Look, sometimes when addiction's happening, the obvious ones, it's easy to say, oh, I know, John's son struggles with addiction, or Mary's, daughter suffers with addiction because you see it. There's maybe some obvious signs,
words, or
or they're in jail,
or they got
on
a DUI.
probation, they got a DUI, got an arrest, went to rehab. But what about all the ones that you don't know about? Know about, and which forces some of these families and parents to not really reach out to people, to not embarrass them. Yeah. And like you said, you don't know why you're so open about it. Well, like you said, you're comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah, it doesn't really bother me.
Right. But obviously, we know a lot of people that I don't know if they're comfortable in their own skin or not.
I mean, even on my post, they didn't comment publicly.
They didn't. They're not open about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we got to find a way to kind of let people get comfortable with stuff like that, especially in a day and time where apparently we're very comfortable about a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you would think it's time to come out with whatever you have. Everybody come out of the closet.
Put all your dirt out there.
Yeah, we should all just come out. Well, not dirt. That's not really dirt.
Touche.
But I think we should all come out of the closet on things that we don't need to be in the closet about.
Sure.
And again, I'm not, when you were talking about the Kevin Spacey thing earlier and saying, oh, well, now he came out and say he's a gay man. Well, the timing of this is way off. So I think that issues like that, where somebody comes out of the closet publicly, and then also says, I need to go to treatment publicly after being accused of
he didn't
harassment.
Specify either what type of treatment.
I think that puts a negative mark on treatment in general, and people in general that are legitimately coming out, because it forces you to like, oh, well, how can I have an issue with him now, or I'm now supposed to be more empathetic to him, but really, if you're a predator, you're a predator, and I think we need to do it. Remember, we were talking about that a couple of weeks back when we were talking about the coach. Getting fired and all. Well, a predator is a predator is a predator, and I think you need to address the predatorial stuff first before we can be compassionate about if there's another issue attached to this. Right? First of all, the kid that came out was 14 years old.
Yep.
Yeah, he was 26, and the kid was 14.
Yeah. Well,
and they were at a party or something.
Right. So that's not that you're a gay man.
Yeah, that's
you're a pedophile.
Yeah.
So that's very different.
Very.
You know, I mean, you know what I'm saying? So I think the fact that people are embracing him as much as they are, rather than vilifying him more.
I don't know. Some people are vilifying, though, for sure.
I
I've
think
seen
rightly
quite a
so.
bit.
You're a
Yeah.
pedophile.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have. It's just a weird
if,
mix.
If that was a guy, let's change it. And everybody loves Kevin Spacey. You know,
yeah, he's a great actor.
movies, great actor, all that stuff, right? But let's change it. Let's change it to somebody that maybe is less likable. Who's somebody a little bit less likable that if they would have come
Harvey
out and
Weinstein?
said, no, let's think, and then put it that they abused a woman. Let's think, what is a male actor that's less likable that people just love to hate? Is there one you can think of?
The only ones that popped in my head are like Charlie Sheen.
Perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
so if Charlie Sheen would, and look, nobody's accusing him.
No.
If Charlie Sheen would have come out, if somebody would have come out and said, I was a 14-year-old girl and Charlie Sheen harassed me or assaulted me or jumped on me,
Sure.
it'd be a whole different ball game.
Well, I
there's
think
there's no quantifying it really. It's just like trying to provide a reason like why you did it, and the reason's like inside you. It's not
Right.
It's not that you're
Right.
You didn't
Right.
do this because you're an alcoholic, or you didn't do this because you're.
And those
a
are
gay
the two
man.
things I heard him say.
Yeah.
Two is, one, if it happened, I must have been I was drinking at the time, and I have no recollection of the incident.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then number two, I'm a gay man. So being gay and drunk does not make you a pedophile. Let's
I think
get
he,
that understanding right now.
I want to say the common held belief at the moment, anyways, was the whole gay man comment
Right.
came out as more of like a deflection. Kind of like, hey, let me drop
That's
a
what I'm saying.
bomb so y'all
Right.
ignore the fact that I was touching a little 14-year-old kid.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
In other words, even in that comment, he's
Yeah.
looking at as if a 14-year-old
Was a
is
male.
equal to
Yeah.
an 18-year-old
It was not.
man that,
Right.
oh, I did that because I was a gay man. No, you did that because
Yeah.
you were taking advantage of a little boy.
Yeah, and you're doing it because you got some problems, bro.
That's a problem. So I do believe he requires treatment. I just think that at the same time, that's also a criminal offense.
Yeah. Well, he came out and said treatment, but he wasn't specific as to what the treatment was or anything else. It was very vague.
Yeah, but see, my problem with that, Trinity, is just like when you're talking about the testosterone, there's a treatment for it.
Yeah.
There's something. In recovery, there's a treatment for
Sure.
it. People get healthy, they get sober. Maybe in those other issues, there's a high percentage.
Right.
I'm not really that versed in sexual offender treatment. I
neither.
know I rented some space in one of my treatment centers before to a person that did an entire sexual offender program, and I ended up asking them to leave and discontinue the contract
Wow.
because it was very obvious that it was not a good fit for my facility.
Right.
Not even the female staff that I had that was an adult felt comfortable around some of the comments and gestures and things that were said.
Wow.
So it's almost like you have to have like an empty space where they have actual no contact. You know what I mean? For anybody.
Wow.
Just and let me tell you something. There was a lot of accountability on these individuals. They were from the prison system.
Sure.
They were coming out of a prison system, trying to re-enter society. And I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to say I'm not compassionate towards problems. It's just that when it comes to sexual offense, we start getting into a realm of an unknown realm, and an unknown, like when you said quantifying it, of how healthy can you get once you've already been sick. I don't know the recovery rate on that because everything I saw at that time before I asked them to leave was a
know
very
either.
low recovery rate. And we do know that sexual offenders, once they're sexual offenders, have to register for a lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, is there really or is it recovery rate, or is it something you just have to maintain? Like you have to just constantly suppress that or whatever. Like,
but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I've never heard
I'm a
other
little
than
bit
castration.
ignorant to that problem. I know addiction.
right?
And that's why when they say treatment, people always relate it to us. Almost like people relate Vivitrol to methadone, even though Vivitrol and methadone are so very different.
Well, the
people
thing-
relate treatment for this to people that get, all of a
Yeah.
sudden they get a DUI or kill somebody in a car and they go, oh, I need treatment, and get excused. Like they're trying to compare this to like when Tiger Woods said, I need treatment after getting pulled over. That's very different.
Well, that's the thing though with the treatment. That's why I said they were vague as to what it's for. So he might not be getting treatment for anything sexual. He could very well say he's got an alcoholic problem. Who knows?
You're right. He was. That's right.
He never
didn't specify
specify
which treatment.
what. So it could be maybe he's saying he's got an issue with alcohol.
Maybe I assume that. Maybe I'm doing the wrong thing in assuming that because he spoke more about being a gay male and living gay openly than in being intoxicated and having a drinking problem for years. Because maybe if he would have come out and said, I've had a drinking problem for many years and I've made a lot of poor choices based on my drinking, so I'm seeking treatment, then I would look at it like, well, he's talking about that.
And that's the thing. He was so vague about it. It seems like he just wants it to go away, to be honest with you. It seems like he's doing his best to release what he's got to release to make it go away. Yeah. But I don't see it going away anytime soon unless somebody else comes out next week and does something stupid.
But I think there's a lot of people out there that have lived with drug addicts and alcoholics as well, and that we don't want to excuse the behavior due to the problem. Mm-hmm. You don't excuse the behavior. The behavior is the behavior, and you do have to hold yourself accountable to the behavior, or else you do get people that use it as an excuse.
Yeah.
And get put, and then it discounts all the real ones.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like if you cry wolf that someone assaulted you, and it wasn't an assault, then that person that was really assaulted, that's disrespecting them because they were really assaulted and hurt. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I take issue with some of that.
And it looks like everybody's coming out of the woodwork for him right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now.
Well, here's what I love is that everybody. Here's what I love. To anyone out there that's ever been victimized by somebody, whether it be sexually or whatever, I love that they're coming out.
It's a great time to come out. Yeah.
It's a come out year. Yeah. This is the year of the come out.
Well, like I don't know why the original guy came out and said what he said to happen 30 years ago. I don't know what prompted that. I don't know if it was an interview or what. But
I think it's just everything that's happening.
It came out, and then it was its own problem, and then all of a sudden 8 different people came out from House of Cards set.
Wow.
Said that he did something to him. Yep. And now I'm looking at apparently somebody over in the UK is coming out as well.
Wow.
And the British police are investigating. Like apparently this dude's been doing it for a long time. And from what my understanding was with the House of Cards one, it was very similar to Weinstein. Like everybody knew about it, but they all kind of just let it be what it is because he's such a big star, I guess, maybe.
Yeah. When you have that much money, I mean, it's easy to keep things quiet.
Yeah.
Right.
It's very interesting.
Well, one of the other things is, first of all of Hollywood is just they should have kept their mouth shut about everything because I'm telling you, it opened up doors. Yeah, but when I was out there, I told you that there was a person like you had that insider with Kevin Spacey. There's an insider that I know that told me about if this particular person comes out with what I hear they want to come out with.
Right.
It'll blow the doors off of all of these that we've heard so far.
Really?
All of them.
Wow.
All of them.
Someone that you want to hear?
Well, somebody that said they were going to come out with something. So that's how I first heard it. Before the Weinstein thing came out, when I was out there, somebody was telling me this person is going to come out with this information and blow the doors off of Hollywood. Wow. And that was not a Weinstein issue.
Wow.
And when I heard that, I was like, no, man, if that happens, that's pretty big.
Wow.
And then I come home and the Weinstein comes out. Now this thing comes out and there's more. This person still has yet to come out publicly. So when that one happens, and I got every reason to believe that it will, so this is not over.
See, I don't know, though. I don't know how much it really affects, though, because it happened with, Michael Jackson a long time ago when they were talking about the little boys and things of that nature. Yeah. But it didn't really affect his career. I mean, towards the end, he was still just as popular as ever, and it didn't really – he was still getting gigs. Like, for the immediate aftermath, it was a problem. And then, like, as time went on, people, forgot.
Well, and it all comes down to if you're not convicted or if there's not –
yeah.
If you're not convicted,
yeah,
you're forgiven.
Basically. So, all this stuff, even with Kevin Spacey, apparently there was one back in, I think, 2012 or 2008. I can't remember the exact date.
Right.
But on the House of Cards, so it must have been 2012, on the House of Cards set, something took place.
Right.
And Netflix came in. They took care of it. Not Netflix, but the company owns it, whatever.
Right.
Came in, handled the situation they thought was appropriate for everybody involved.
Right.
They created a hotline for people to call if they felt, victimized anonymously, whatever. And they thought they squashed it.
Right.
So that's an example of it's been going on. People knew about it, and they let it go. So if he doesn't get convicted of any actual wrongdoing here, and he just comes out as to be just a pretty crappy guy, I could totally see him doing season 7. Maybe not House of Cards, but getting some else in the future. Nobody caring.
Well, then that's the problem because the stigma is that I'm going to come out, I'm going to open up, and I'm going to reveal all this information, and nothing's going to happen to that person, and then I'm the one that's going to be left well, you can't hire them.
Yeah.
Because here's the problem. Hollywood's full of people like this.
Yes.
Hollywood, New York, Nashville, all these people. Well, probably less Nashville than New York and Hollywood and Miami. But
corporate building, it's everywhere.
Every part of the entertainment industry
yes.
is filled with all of this.
Yes.
And that is not the news part. The news part is that are you willing to clean and police yourselves?
And I think that's what we're waiting to see.
Because when Trump said what he said with the Billy Bush, what was that guy's name? Billy Bush, right?
Yeah, just grab him in the...
Yeah. Oh. They made such a big deal out of that one statement And it's like, you forget, he was Hollywood at that time.
Yeah.
That was Hollywood.
And then he got elected president.
So you got Hollywood, you separated yourself from Trump, even though he was Hollywood.
Yeah.
He had high ratings. He had a hit TV show. He was on NBC.
Yeah.
He was Hollywood.
Sure.
But you separated yourself and say, well, he's not Hollywood. He's not part of us because he's going for president. All right. Well, then let's keep going. So then you had him. Then who else came after that? What comments were next? It wasn't the Weinstein thing next. It was something else before that. Fox News. O'Reilly. So then O'Reilly.
No, Murdoch was first, wasn't he? The owner.
And the Taylor Swift thing was in the middle
The
of
Taylor
that.
Swift thing was a minor.
No, but the owner of Fox. The one that they ousted.
Murdoch got in trouble?
Yeah, wasn't it Murdoch? Let me look that up. Yeah.
All right, well, let's fast forward to what I do know why you looked that up, because I do know that O'Reilly lost his gig. The number one guy on Fox News loses his show due to, and then we find out all these payoffs and all these people that have been paid off, and that was a big deal because these are people in the news industry.
Oh, apparently Dustin Hoffman's been.
Yeah, Dustin Hoffman recently.
3 hours ago.
Now you're distracting me. See the squirrel?
Sorry.
But you're talking about a top guy that did lose his gig. So when you say nothing happens, O'Reilly did lose his gig. He's no longer on Fox News. But you're talking about the top producer in Fox News lost his gig. I know for now, but what I'm saying is that's a big deal.
But they just had him back on as a guest host as a guest.
That's still different than you're the top earner.
I guess.
You know what I mean? You're the top earner. I'm not saying that. Look, it was a very forgiving nation anyway.
I'm saying he was literally back on like a week ago promoting books and stuff.
Right. Well, he's never said he did it, and he's never admitted it, and he's never said he's going to go to treatment. So he just kind of
swept it under the rug.
Yeah, and then his boss, ended up dying, but they had all these things. So now we have. Then it went to the West Coast, right? The real Hollywood, and then boom, Weinstein. Now Dustin Hoffman. Like, who doesn't love Dustin Hoffman?
Yeah, all I think is Rain Man when I think of him. I can't imagine Rain Man, doing that. But
I mean, come on, man, Dustin Hoffman, Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, like big names, man.
I mean, these aren't little Weinstein. These are huge names.
Yeah.
And then the actresses that were hurt in the whole deal, they're big names.
Yeah.
So imagine all the little ones.
Well, even the one that came out against Kevin Spacey, the original guy, I recognize him from films and stuff.
Oh my God, I just don't even know what to think. And so in the midst of all this, there are true drug and alcohol and mental health issues. So is this Trinity? Do we need to look at the mental health? Our own mental health, of how we treat other people and how we treat each other and how we treat ourselves and what I don't even know what to think about this as a mental health problem when it comes to a bunch of just an entire industry of people accepting this behavior as a norm. Just like in an alcoholic home, you just kind of think all dads get drunk and beat you, or all men cheat, or all women cheat on their husbands. These things that people think as norms, and then you get them in your office, and you're like, well, no, not all married couples get divorced. No, not all individuals cheat. These just become norms.
Sure. Well, I think part of the reason why it becomes a norm in Hollywood is people are making money off of it. And it was Roger Ailes, by the way. It wasn't Murdoch.
I knew. Yeah. So you need to correct that, brother, because Murdoch's a big name.
Yeah, it was Roger Ailes was a big name.
There would have been no Big Brother. She would have been hiding. It's her husband, Julie Chen.
Well,
right.
Anyways, no, I think people are making money off of it. That's why.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's easy to let's just take Kevin Spacey as an example.
Right.
People got paid off of House of Cards, man. That was one of their flagship things. Netflix as a company, they're making money. Like, everybody associated with that, producer-wise.
But you said this is before that.
What was?
You said that there was a lot of people coming out of the woodwork that was even before that. Before House of Cards.
Well, they're coming out now.
People in the industry knew. But that means people knew.
Yeah, but Kevin Spacey's known for turning out major products. So I'm just using House of Cards as an example.
Yep.
So House of Cards as an example. The reason why I think they overlook it and become such a standard is because they know that, hey, lesser of two evils kind of a thing in their mind.
Right.
The way they justify it is, he didn't do it to me.
Right.
I don't know those people.
Right.
I'm going to stay out of it and make sure I keep getting my $8 million paycheck.
Yeah. So what I'm looking at is, then let me tell you something. If you have a drug or alcohol problem, feel free to come out, because the Robert Downey Jr.'s, dude, you were just a drunk and got high. You know what I mean? The AJ McLean's, the who else? Charlie Sheen's.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether you have tiger blood or not. You need, if you have tiger blood in you, it's a good time to come out because it is nothing compared to the.
Well, yeah.
the,
What was
the
it? Was it
craziness.
Robert Downey Jr. was like in somebody's house one time or something? Like that's nothing compared.
No,
to
that was
like,
the other guy, wasn't it? Wasn't that right on, right on, right on?
I think they both did it. Then.
Did they?
Yeah.
Well, who
But-
hasn't shown up
Yeah.
at someone else's house
sure.
when you're intoxicated? See,
my
drunk
point being-
behavior is very different than predatorial behavior.
My point is, I would much rather show up to have like somebody who's
Right.
like, I'd much rather show up to my house and see Robert Downey Jr. pass out on my floor
100%.
than somebody molest my daughter.
100%.
Like I'd much rather have that situation.
Who was I thinking about, Robbie?
I don't know.
Right on, the Texas guy.
Anthony McConaughey.
I know who you're
Anthony,
talking about.
Matt McConaughey.
Yeah.
I'd rather, if he's naked on your couch all passed out playing a bongo,
It's like, hey, what's up, man?
yeah, he needs to go to rehab, but at least I'm not trying to hurt him. But, unfortunately, we have the O.J. Simpsons of the world that people just, because of who they are,
Yeah.
we accept it.
Yeah.
Dude, that dude can, just like you said, people forgive, and O.J. Simpson will once again not be the O.J. he
I was
was.
about to say he might be the exception then because
Nah,
a lot of
nah.
people still haven't forgiven that one. man.
Nah, brother. He's still O.J. As a matter of fact, if he was around here right now, people would still be getting his autograph and still coming
Maybe.
up to him and still wanting to take their picture with him. It's O.J. Simpson, man.
Maybe some of the older crowd. The
You wouldn't?
People who
You wouldn't?
No, not really. I mean,
I'd interview him. I'd have him sit right here.
I was never impressed with him though. Anyways.
But then again, I'd interview other murderers too.
Well, yeah, I would too.
But
I
you were
wouldn't-
never impressed
I wouldn't.
with
I
him.
wouldn't. I wasn't old enough to remember.
Oh, you don't
his
remember
heydays.
O.J. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't remember. I don't remember the impact. I saw the documentaries and stuff, so I
Right,
know the
right. Yeah,
impact
you
that he
can't
made
take-
with
yeah.
his football, and then the Hertz car commercials,
Right.
and like just
Yeah.
how big he was back
Yeah.
then, being an African American athlete, kind of injecting himself into the quote unquote white
Oh yeah,
world.
he
Like,
was the first white man.
Yeah, so-
that played that good.
So for me,
because he was embraced by
Yeah.
every culture.
yeah, and so for me, I wasn't old enough to really see that happen, in real time.
Right.
So really, all I know him from is the Bronco and everything else.
Really?
That's my.
Yeah. Well, the older people will take him.
Because when he was running, I was still a kid. I didn't really pay attention.
Right. Yeah, but those. I mean, look, man, it is what it is.
Sure.
When we talk about stigma, as bad as it could be, and as big as you can make it in your mind, we're a very forgiving nation. Whatever you did, whatever bad you did, trust me, there's a lot of people out here that did a lot worse, and they're willing to forgive you and accept you because you have no idea what they've done. So while you're sitting in there in your house depressed and hurt about your situation, thinking, oh, nobody can understand,
Right.
nobody's going through this. No. Look around, man. These are big names, big faces. This is just the tip of the iceberg of the secrets that people have, and secrets make us sick. And I don't want you to be sick. We don't want you to be sick. Mm-hmm. When you're sick, and then you also start drinking to melt it and self-medicate, to get high and to escape from it and to not deal with it. That's when it becomes such a bigger and greater issue. So I would much rather you come out now with whatever's going on. I guarantee you, I don't care what thought you've been having. I don't care what behavior you've been showing. There's somebody else that's doing that, and apparently there's a treatment for everything.
Well, that's what the internet did. Is it made everybody realize that you're not alone.
You are definitely not alone.
That's what the internet did. What was that, Rule 72 or something like that? No matter what you could think of, there's porn about it or whatever.
Right, and then even the guy that ate the person's face in Miami.
Yeah.
Remember that when that guy? There was other people that ate people's faces.
Yeah, that happened in Tallahassee too.
Even that guy's not alone. He can go into a group room if he was still alive and go, I ate someone's face, and there's somebody else saying,
well, actually.
yeah, but did you eat two people's faces?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like somebody will one up you.
Well, I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer actually ate people. His wasn't because of drug abuse, but he ate people.
Right. Like what treatment would have worked for him? I just don't want to dilute treatment and the understanding of treatment, because I believe in treatment. I believe in the process. I think treatment is good and effective.
Sure.
I just know that rich people, Hollywood people, well-to-do people sometimes do use that to kind of escape a little bit of a violation. And I can't blame them.
It was the number one PR move.
Because, who wouldn't?
Yeah, number one PR move,
You know what I mean?
man. Go to treatment.
Everybody
loves somebody in treatment.
And broke people that are in the prison system find out that if they get into the drug and alcohol program, they can get it. Then they do it too. So it's not just a money thing.
I think judges
they just
are more
do it
lenient.
differently.
Yeah, I think judges are more lenient.
Yeah,
when they
broke
see that
people
you're
do it
going
once
through
they're in the system.
Yeah.
Rich people do it before they get in the system.
Yeah. They do it to stay out of the system.
Stay out of the system. But everybody uses treatment, and I think we have to remember that don't let this dilute your understanding of treatment and your trust in it. You know, because there are a lot of people that justifiably so deserve our forgiveness and have changed. There are a lot of individuals that have changed. Some pretty bad, people that have done some pretty bad things have changed.
If he I think the only one I see for Kevin Spacey, anyways, if it comes out that he actually is proven guilty, if you will, of molestation, that's the one I think a lot of people have a hard time forgiving.
I think pedophilia. I'd have to agree with you.
Forgiven.
I think when it comes to sexual offenses, period.
Sure.
I just find it difficult to not difficult to forgive, but difficult to trust.
Yeah.
To do the right thing in the future.
Yeah.
I mean, if you know that and you leave your child alone with this individual in the future, that's really on you.
Yeah. I think that's the big thing.
We have to protect our children from people like this.
This reminded me of a time. It's like a little tangent, but I was in treatment, and we did this thing called like a first step, where you write down like all the worst things you've ever done, and then you like say them in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
And there was this guy in there that one of his like first step examples was like he molested like a 14-year-old,
right,
like, a girl, and it was like everyone was just like in shock, and then they actually had to report him, and it was just like the whole point of this is to like forgive yourself and forgive others, but it's like it was just like such a curveball because you don't know what to do in those situations.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I urge you, if you're holding on to a secret like that, if you're that individual that you've molested or hurt somebody, please out yourself to protect the next person, because the likelihood of you doing that again and repeating that offense without treatment, without being open and honest, without somehow holding yourself accountable, you're putting another person that you have yet to know right now at risk. And you're putting yourself at risk to spending the rest of your life in a prison cell, because you may not get away with it next time. You may hurt somebody so bad next time they will get you, and hopefully they do. But you have to out yourself. Sometimes we have to hold ourselves accountable. Yeah. You know what I mean? We have a good mutual friend that, his whole entire situation played live on the news when he got in trouble. And when he had the opportunity to get away with it, his attorney could have got him off and away with it. And he told him, I want to do what I'm not going to plead innocent. I did do it. Give me what I need to do, and I'll do what I have to do. And I like that. You got to man up and take your responsibility. And if the licks are spending time in prison, then you spend time in prison.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Look, life is life, whether you live it on the outside or on the inside. There's a lot of good that individuals have done behind the wall for other people. There's a lot of old-timers in there that have given a lot of good insight to young individuals that are going to be getting out someday.
Well, I think that's what they call it, the next right thing.
Right.
And I think there's a ton, and that's on that same kind of accord. I think you and I talked about it a while back too with Aaron Hernandez, when everybody was like celebrating when he took his own life because of what he may or may not have done or whatever. But my thing was, I didn't like that idea because, number one, now a daughter has to grow up without a father.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Number two, who could he have helped? He could have helped his daughter even. He could have helped his daughter do great things by talking to him and showing remorse or what have you. Or he could have talked to other inmates who were going to get out at some point. So, look, man, I screwed my whole life up. So, same thing, same concept.
Right. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I think pretty soon we're not, next time we start looking at Netflix, there's going to be so many movies removed off of Netflix. All the good ones are going to probably all going to be left are B movies.
Yeah, but how long do we become immune to this, though, is what I'm curious. How long until we're just like, oh, just another one came out?
Probably now.
Yeah?
We're probably already at that mark. We kind
of already are.
Yeah,
Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah, Dustin Hoffman
came
blew it
off.
And what did they say anyway? You said it just came out several hours ago.
I just saw a report when I was looking up for Roger Ailes. Let me see.
What did they say about Dustin Hoffman?
Let's go to work.
God, man.
Yeah, it does.
Please don't come out with anything against De Niro.
Oh,
please.
Or Al Pacino. Al Pacino probably already has some, I think.
I don't know. Stop it, man. You keep on throwing names out and accusations. Stop it.
Yeah, right?
No, man.
Oh, apparently there's 2 women accused Dustin Hoffman.
2 women?
Yes. Dustin Hoffman sexually harassed me when I was 17.
Oh, my God.
Oh.
Yeah. Once again, these are all, until they're proven.
Allegedly. They're all allegedly, but still. It's just ugly to hear. It's just ugly to hear.
Yeah.
They're going to have to form their own movie company.
Oh, gosh.
Oh man,
That's an A-list support group right there.
Yeah, right. It says Wendy Riss guest. I can't even say that last name. Said she had 2 meetings in 1991 with Hoffman and screenwriter Murray Shishko to talk about adapting her script A Darker Purpose to a movie. The playwright, she said, was in her 20s at the time, and the meeting, the graduate actor was 53. The killing in the second meeting, which occurred weeks after, really different. I go in, and this time it's like Dustin Hoffman's really different. He says, before you start, let me ask you one question. Have you ever been intimate with a man over 40?
oh man.
And I guess it goes downhill from there.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, I'm not going to read the rest
Is
of
there
it.
another one? You said there's 2?
This article is about the second one. I just clicked on the first
Oh,
one.
my
So
God.
I
mean, these are all big names, man. Come out wherever you are. Out them all now.
Sure.
Out them all
Now's
now.
the time, man.
You know, this is why I'm a guy that says I prefer a Klansman with his hood on.
Sure.
If you are a racist and you are a anti-Semite and you hate, I'd rather you wear it on your jacket, on your head, on your tattoos.
Right.
I want to know who you are. That way, you're allowed to feel and think of whatever you are. Just, I know how to stay away from you, keep my family away from you, and protect myself.
Right.
Right? I want them all out.
Okay, I have to read
What?
this one.
Oh, boy.
He basically said, she said, I'll never forget. He moves back. He opens up his arms. He says, it would be a whole new body to explore, she said. I'm trying to go back to my pitch, and I'm trying to talk about my play. Then Dustin Hoffman gets up, and he says he has to do some clothing shopping at a nearby hotel, and did I want to come along? He's like, come on, come to this nearby hotel. And it left her in tears, she said.
Wow.
Man.
Again, this is allegedly.
Yes, allegedly.
You know, we don't know the facts, but, you know, this is the thing. I hope all of these things turn into cases so that one way or another, we know whether to forgive and say, all right, that never really happened, or to vilify and say it did happen, you need to be held accountable.
And he took a page out of Spacey's book. His response to this one says, I have the utmost respect for women and feel terrible that anything I might have done could have put her in an uncomfortable situation.
Wow.
I am sorry. It is not reflective of who I am. So I might have done, I don't recall, is basically what he's kind of.
Yeah, I have no recollection.
All the exact same things as Kevin Spacey, minus the treatment part at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's
gay.
coming. It's coming. Give it another couple of days.
Well, he's not gay in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why didn't he come out and say, well, I've been a heterosexual. I've loved women all my life. So that could have happened.
I'm telling you, Kevin Spacey's PR team probably all told him, hey, now's the time to come out with it. Because he's been holding on to that Trump card for a long time now. He's been holding on to that for a while, just waiting to play it. It's like, no, just wait till something comes out and then play it.
Right.
So that's probably what happened.
Oh, my God.
It's good times, man.
Right.
Meryl Streep recalled Dustin Hoffman groping her breast.
Oh, my God.
So
even she's talking.
yeah, I guess so.
Hey, Meryl Streep, how about you just tell us all since you know everybody.
Yeah, right.
How about instead of waiting till some younger, some more innocent, less famous, someone with more to lose is the real brave one, and then you get all the accolades for being brave when you're sitting back there, Meryl Streep, and you're waiting till someone else outs everybody, and then you go, oh, yeah, I knew about that. First of all, I do believe that when people say that someone hurt them is a brave person.
Right.
But I do struggle and have a hard time with the people that are still being real loudmouths about it and saying that they're and getting accolades for being brave when they waited till lesser known people were the real brave ones and the trendsetters, or not trendsetters, but how do you say it? Like the ones that really whistle blew it.
Right.
Because we're seeing some
pioneers.
We're seeing the Rosie McGowans and all that stuff like that coming out afterwards and acting real tough afterwards.
Right.
Say, women, stand up. What you didn't. You didn't. You let this lesser-known person and how many countless of hundreds of women get abused. Because you know it's hundreds and thousands by these same individuals.
As I'm reading the one about Meryl Streep, she said basically that he pinched her or whatever, and says Streep's story echoes Hoffman's own account of very gently pinching his graduate co-star Catherine Ross's rear end during their first screen test. He did it, he said, in a 1992 interview as a way to help loosen us up.
Yeah.
So he's trying to, He's a flirt. I was just trying to loosen things up. It's harmless. I just pinched your butt, basically, is what he's trying to say.
And again, and they may be, and here's the thing. They're in a system where that's acceptable behavior. Much like in the football system, it's okay for your coach to smack you on the butt.
Yeah.
It's acceptable behavior.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't want to make it as, in other words, I don't want to minimize it to make it the same as a coach smacking you on the butt. But we also need to understand that when something in your head is normal, and we do know that a lot of actors and actresses come from very abused environments, and that's how they became good actors and actresses, because they were able to escape and be someone different and go outside of their life that was so polluted and hurtful. So to be someone else, they practiced very hard to just be someone else, to be something else. You know what I mean? That's why there's so much raw emotion in some of their scenes. The best actresses have some serious pain inside that they get that from. They don't just make themselves cry and act hysterical on screen because they're a great actor. They're able to dig into some real pain that they've felt and come out with it.
I think some of it, though, I mean, we don't have enough time to really get into all of it, but I know I had a conversation with my mom about this the other day. Mm-hmm. It's just interesting. It's just such a weird gray area, though, like between people kind of just saying some inappropriate things. Like my biggest line that I have to draw is whenever somebody touches you or they use their power against you, that kind of a thing. But if somebody's just saying inappropriate stuff, I mean, I don't know where I sit on that side.
Well, in Trinity, you touched on something that I wish we could talk about for an hour. Realistically, we can, but we're not going to. Yeah. But the thing is you're absolutely right. I think that, like, rape is rape.
Yes.
I don't like that when we try to educate people about date rape, there was a specific thing that was kind of being said, but now date rape is still rape.
Same thing.
But for some reason, it just has like it's taken on its own little definition and kind of minimizes it a little bit. Oh, it's date rape. It's not rape. No, rape is rape.
Yes.
Molestation is molestation. However, are there varying degrees? Yes, just like there's varying degrees of murder. It'd be very different if I chop you up in a bunch of little pieces and smatter you all through the walls, Trinity, and plant you all over. And so all these walls are nice and red.
Was it Durst now?
And I sit there laughing hysterically when the cops come in, as opposed to we had a fight, we're fighting, and then a gun went off.
All right, Robert Durst.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm just saying.
If I come up missing sometime.
It's a different murder.
Come here.
It's just a different murder.
He's from Texas, too, so in that area. So if he's over in, like, Galveston, Texas, for instance, where Robert Durst was at,
if I did that, I'd be in Juarez. I would not be here.
I guess my point was just, it's just interesting because there's, at what point does a guy just being obnoxious turn into harassment? You know what I mean? Like, where's that line at? And I think that's what a lot of people, it's not very clear, because what's harassment to you might be wanted by this person or might be considered just, whatever by this other person.
But that's what I'm saying. We've learned so much through Hollywood. We hate to admit it, but we have.
Right.
Hollywood teaches us how to behave and speak and what's the norm, what's not the norm. Look, if you watch those old Hollywood movies, they all abuse women. These Humphrey Bogarts and stuff, they grab their women, they force them to kiss them. The woman at first says no, smacks him and all that stuff. The guy forces him to kiss again, and then eventually the leg goes up and she accepts it.
And then they get married.
Old Hollywood movies always had women resist men, smack men, and the men be forceful and physical until the woman gives in. Yeah. That's always been the Hollywood way.
Yeah. Sure.
So for anyone Hollywood to act like they're a more kinder, compassionate, understanding, loving, that is a lie.
Sure.
It's always been a lie. Hollywood's always been a lie, always will be a lie.
Yeah.
The thing we need to understand is there's real people out here dealing with these problems. And let's not forget that if you're suffering, if somebody's abusing you, if somebody's hurting you, now is a great time to come out because we want to talk about it right now. We want to help you right now. This is how you utilize these situations. It's just like the opioid epidemic is a perfect time to now go to rehab and go get help because there's more resources more than ever. There's more people that are talking about this more than ever. So that stigma that usually holds you back is now not going to be so great. So this is a great time to know that the stigma that fear that you're currently feeling, it's not it can be lessened because so many other people are speaking about it right now.
Yeah.
So this is what I hope happens. More women that have been abused come out, and more importantly, get mad at me if you will, but more men, more young men that were abused come out because that's the population that doesn't tend to come out.
There's a huge stigma attached to that.
And there's a huge stigma attached to that.
Yeah.
So for all the young men that have been abused and hurt, because in the addiction it's weird. You go into recovery rooms, right? 12-step rooms. And it seems like 80% of the women in those 12-step rooms have been physically abused by somebody.
Oh, yeah.
And then the men, about 10%.
Sure.
Now, you know darn well that's not true.
Of course.
There's no way that number is that lopsided. But
a lot of guys don't want to talk about
the
that.
stigma's that bad.
Oh, yeah.
The stigma's that bad. So physical, using your power over somebody, like you said, Trinity, does an amazing amount of damage to the human psyche and to the psychology of another human. And then, so as a person gets older, just to cope with it, starts like people after surgery use pain pills. Well, guess what? To cope with mental health anguish and problems, people use substances. Right. And then addiction happens.
Yeah.
Addiction is not always primary, but it's treated as a primary so we can deal with it. It's in conjunction with some mental health issues. And the people with the most serious drug and alcohol problems, it's because there's some serious mental health issues that are combining with it or some serious trauma that are combining with it. So that's the good thing about all these things coming out is that it's National Come Out Year.
Yeah, we'll call it that.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Right. Everybody come out. All right, so birthdays. We got to close up, Trinity. So it started with your testosterone. So remember, if you have low T, call Trinity.
No.
Call Trinity.
Call your doctor.
Okay, call your doctor, then call Trinity for some support. Because Trinity, I love that you've talked so openly about this because some of the symptoms that you've shared with me, I didn't know about them.
Yeah, me either.
But see, it's like anything else. Now I start checking myself. I go, wait, do I have it? Right?
That's actually how I found out, to be honest with you.
Really? Just like someone else talking about the symptoms?
Well, my wife was dealing with some issues.
Right.
And the issues that she was dealing with, I was experiencing similar. And so I spoke to the doctor. I was like, hey, well, do I need to get my stuff looked at as well because of this? And he was like, actually, what you're telling me sounds like such and such.
Oh, my
God. And then
God.
it started down that road. But had it not been for me sitting in on her some of her appointments, I wouldn't have gone to the doctor.
Right.
I'm that guy that just doesn't go.
Right.
And so I've been dealing with some of this stuff for a long time, and I just kept thinking, I'm just getting old or I'm just whatever. But had I not been involved in that discussion with her and the doctor at that moment, I probably would still be suffering with some of the same things.
Well, I'm glad you're not, and I think that's an important issue. I think all men of advanced age, especially, should be checking their testosterone level.
Whoa!
You got gray in your beard.
I'm
now.
not advanced age.
You have a gray in your beard. You have gray in your beard.
Hold up.
You have gray in your beard.
You got gray in your hair.
I'm at advanced age,
and I'm nowhere near. Well, hey,
no. Number's just a number. Number's just a number.
I am not ready to own that yet. I'm not ready to take advanced age.
Let's talk about the stigma. What does it mean to you to how does that make you feel? Let me play licensed mental health. Yeah, do you have a stigma of age?
No, I'm actually proud of it. I want to get older. Like, I'm proud of.
Well, you didn't sound like you were proud of it a second ago.
No,
you are there, Trinity.
It depends on how you define advanced age.
Trinity, you have gray hair in your beard, and you have low testosterone. I think it's safe to say that age.
What I got to deal with now?
No. I'm not saying it in a negative way. That's a truth.
I'm not ready to own advanced age.
You may not be my age. You may not be your mother's age, my father's age.
So where's your cutoff for advanced age?
Anytime that age is one of the symptoms of why you're feeling what you're feeling. So sometimes an athlete at 30 years old is an advanced age in their performance level. They're no longer the same athlete at 30 in their sport. Whereas in another sport, you can go a lot older, right?
Sure.
So advanced age is any time whatever you thought you could do, feel you could do, blah, blah, all of a sudden gets impeded, or your health gets impeded due to age being a reason. You're not going to tell me that testosterone age has something to do with your testosterone level?
It can.
Let it go, man. It's okay.
But
it's okay.
No,
Trinity, it's
I'm
okay.
not going to own an advanced age at 36, dude. I'm just not going to do it. Maybe if I was like a football player right now, I'd be old for football because I've been playing for 30 years or whatever.
Exactly,
but,
Trinity. You're old for football.
I am old for football.
You're old for football, Trinity.
I'm not going to own advanced age at 36, man. I'm not going to own it. Sorry. Nope. Talk to me after I hit 40 when I have to start going to the proctologist and getting the finger. Then we'll say it.
Did that, Trinity, did that not already happen, Trinity?
It did not. No, thank you.
Trinity?
No, he just spread and looked.
Close enough, Trinity. Trinity?
No.
Trinity?
No.
It's okay.
Hold up.
No, we have to close the show, Trinity. I'm sorry. No, we have to close the show,
Let's talk
Trinity.
about your inability to discern the difference between a finger and spreading there. Like, there's a major difference.
Okay, Trinity. There's a major difference.
There's a huge difference there.
Okay. Maybe there's a treatment for that.
Anyways.
You can go get.
You gotta
Look at Robbie said.
Hey, Robbie, he wants nothing to do with this conversation.
Robbie is, even Robbie's at an advanced age to an elementary kid.
That's what I was just thinking.
There you go.
Right?
Maybe I have to own it now.
Yeah, there's
go.
things that you just can't do that you used to do. It just starts happening, and it's okay. I haven't ran since my 20s.
You just ran today to go get your keys.
It took 2 seconds.
It was like
Did
a
you see me
jaunt.
walk the rest? Yeah, I started running and then realized, what the hell am I doing? It took me 2 seconds. Dude, it's hard enough to walk up these darn steps.
Oh, dude, don't get me started on that.
You know what I mean? I'm like breathing hard when we first get in here, like on the show. That's why we come early enough.
Come to hot yoga with me.
I'm too old for that.
No.
In my head, I mean. In my head,
I would, but I'm at an advanced age, dude. So
Yeah. It's too hot in there. If they had air conditioner and hot yoga, I'd be there.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's my daughter Zoe's 16th birthday the other day. November 1st, she turned 16 years old.
That she did.
You know, still looking for someone to donate a car.
Yeah.
If you're out there and you want to donate a vehicle, feel free to do so.
Good tax write-off.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, is it a tax write-off when you just give it to somebody?
Yeah, it's a gift.
It's still a
got
tax
value.
write-off?
Yeah.
If you donate to like the Now Matters More Foundation, that's one thing. But
Okay, with her name on it? Okay, do it. It has to say Zoe's name on it. She wants a Mustang or a Jeep, preferably black or gray.
Wow.
Hardtop Jeep.
she's not only
four-door-
needy,
no,
she's
man.
specific.
Oh, brother.
Wow. All
what
right.
year?
Exactly. My daughter's Dahlia was very specific on her car. She
I
got
want
exactly
this many miles.
her
I
car.
want.
Yeah, it's
Wow,
pretty much
all right.
like that. But it's okay because when you're a dad, you'll do it too. I'm not talking to you. You are a dad. But I'm talking to Robbie. You'll do it too. You'll get them whatever they want, as much as you can. And then when you can't, you'll say, "What do you think? I'm just going to get you anything you want?" No, you got to work for it.
There you go.
But when you can't, they got you, man. They got you. So right now I can't. I'm just saying I can't. There's
There you
no
go.
way. I'm not doing that, man. A Jeep or a Mustang? I want a Jeep or a Mustang.
Get her like an old jalopy and put a Barbie Jeep inside of it.
She can have my
So
camera.
There you go.
She can have. I'll take the Jeep or the Mustang.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so we got that birthday. Anything else? Before we got to close out, man. We're way over.
Oh, we got Veterans Day coming up on the 11th.
Right on. I love veterans. My father, Command Sergeant Major Delgado, love him to death.
Right on.
And then my brother did the Air Force. But my dad did 2 tours in Vietnam. So that's how we got here to this country. We belong.
There you go.
Anybody else? Anything
I
else?
think that's it, man.
All right. So remember, it's National Come Out Year. And I mean that. This whole year, this is what we're going to see for the next 6 months for sure.
Probably, yeah.
It's just
Gonna catch
come
on.
out wherever you are.
It's going to be a new trend.
Absolutely. And until, like you said, until it's no longer
Yeah, until nobody
a
cares.
thing.
Yeah.
And hopefully that doesn't ever exist because you know what? We do care about you. There's a lot of people out there that you're afraid to speak about whatever's happening in your family. And I encourage you not to speak about it with your friends and family members. First, go to a professional, somebody who you know is separated from you, and share it with them. Call the Now Matters More Foundation. Call Journey Pure. Call Retreat Premier Addiction Treatment Centers. Call somebody who you know is outside of yourself because that way you're not affecting how anyone looks at you, your family members. Instead, you're able to have an open, honest dialogue. And if it proceeds further, once you're in a healthier place, you're not going to care about outing yourself. That's why Trinity and I out ourselves about so many other things, because we're on the air always outing ourselves about everything anyway.
Pretty much, yeah.
So after a while, you just get immune to that.
Yeah.
It's like, what else can I out myself about? Man, let me get some. If I had a zit within my forehead, I'd be showing it to you. Do I have a zit in the middle of my
I
forehead?
don't think so.
But I'd be showing it to you if I did. All right, everybody. Is that it?
I think
Trinity,
that's it.
anything else?
Time for
believe so.
taco.
All right then. Adios, amigos. It's time for a taco. Goodbye.